What's up, everyone, and welcome into episode number 514, where there's been a lot of news going on recently, and not very good news broke not too long ago. Michigan State has been penalized by the NCAA. It includes a few years of vacated wins, it includes some show causes, it includes some fines.
Some
This is a
probation.
great way to start the week heading into the preview of MSU Penn State. How are you feeling over there, Liam, with this news? And then obviously having to preview MSU Penn State. And we'll also preview MSU San Jose State. So at least we have something positive to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's a little fun to change up the style here with football and basketball season both coexisting right now. But I mean that
One's
news
more
is
fun than the other.
yeah, yeah. I mean we could have it worse. We could be the team we're playing against. Honestly, like at least we didn't come into the year number 2 in the country.
Could we have
But
it worse now, though? Could we after this news?
maybe just because of the infinite trolling that Michigan fans will do for just eternity.
Probably.
For
Yeah,
eternity. And I mean, I can't even blame them because if I was a how would you not? Like, you
I would
just
do the
go
same
through
thing.
years of listening to Michigan State and Ohio State fans tell you how you're gonna get the hammer, and obviously some people are more rational than that, but you have to listen to that for years. It comes out, you get no sort of a hammer, and about 3 months later, one of the schools that was begging for the hammer the whole time got their own hammer and got it way worse than you. I mean, the trolling is infinite. Michigan State football is in whatever is below poverty. Um, Samson Gash posted his Alabama visit. You know, everything's going great over here. Zach, how about for you?
Oh yeah, everything's going great. We talk about how like you're like, oh, this is an all-time low, right? And it's one of those situations where you're like, it can't get much worse, and it truly does get much worse. And I don't understand it. Obviously, we got Penn State this week, which they're not having a great season to go from, like you mentioned, number 2 in the country to where they're at right now with James Franklin being fired. I'm sure they're probably not very thrilled. I'm sure they're probably not looking forward to this game. But what are your thoughts on this game? Obviously, I think Penn State's definitely a lot more talented than MSU, but it's a home game. It's the last really true quote unquote home game for MSU because you got Iowa and then Maryland's going to be in Detroit. I'm going to be interested to see that fan base over there. But it's senior night. So what are your thoughts going into this game? Do you think MSU has a chance?
Yeah, I do think they have a chance. I mean, if there's one thing that seems apparent, if there's any like saving grace, I mean, it doesn't save anything, but it seems as if the team hasn't quit, at least through Minnesota. And you know, anytime you got a team like Penn State has more reason to quit than Michigan State right now. Like Penn State went into the season probably with what? I don't know exactly, but probably a 10.5 win total.
Basically.
And Michigan State went in with a 5.5 win total. So and no players put any merit into that. But it's also just reality. At the end of the day, a season like this was far more likely for Michigan State to play out than for Penn State. So, I mean, I think State should be more bought in theory,
I
except
would
for the
agree.
fact that you might get that interim coach bump for the
Penn
Nittany
State, yeah.
Lions. But I mean, yeah, you look at it, it's still Penn State. I mean, they're according to 24/7 Sports, 10th most talented team in all of college football coming in here at 3-6. So, maybe they put everything together off of that close Indiana loss, or maybe that broke their back. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping is you take the
Yeah.
number 2 team down to the wire, lose on a great play just by a great player. So I'm hoping that kind of broke their back from Michigan State side of things. And you've had 2 weeks to prepare now with the bye, and you come in and I just for the players. I mean, I don't give a shit for any of the coaches, but for the players, I want to see a win in Spartan Stadium.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. And I think if this wasn't coming off of a bye, this is where I'm going to be kind of a little bit more negative. I still think MSU has a shot in this game, but because of what happened earlier, going off of a bye against Michigan, MSU did not look very good going into that game. I truly hope that this is one of those situations where it kind of turns back to like the Iowa situation where you come off that bye and you look really, really good. And I truly hope that's kind of where MSU is at this point. I think you're very accurate that this is a real possibility and a real situation for MSU that you still have players that are going to be bought in. You saw that against Minnesota, and you have Penn State that for a lot of these players, I'm going to almost guarantee you a lot of them's not going to be here next year for Penn State. They're either going to be graduating, going to the NFL. They're going to probably follow James Franklin. Kind of depends on what they do with their head coach position. But if you're MSU, this is senior night. Like you have to defend home field, and even if you want to have somewhat of a conversation of making a bowl, which we shouldn't even be having at this point because they're not beating Iowa. But you have to win this game. And if you win this game, is it going to really help with the graces of the fan bases? No, obviously it's not, but you kind of get yourself closer to the 5-win mark, which I don't think anyone's going to care at this point.
No, I don't think people are really gonna care either. You did you mean to say Nebraska coming off the bye?
Yeah, sorry, I meant Nebraska.
No, yeah, you're good because that's what I was thinking. And yeah, that was I mean, we talked about it at the time that was about the worst first 7 minutes of a football game you've ever seen. I mean, they had what
Yeah,
two pre-snap penalties on the punt, one blocked for a touchdown, and one of those drives, one of those patented early season Joe Rossi drives where the defense looked like they didn't want to stop anyone. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much the bye plays into it, but I do think that loss to Indiana is going to hurt Penn State more than it probably helps them.
yeah, I would agree.
And at the end of the not officially, but you assume Alessio Milivojevic's the starting quarterback, and
I would be shocked.
if he
He better
played
be.
if he played anything like he did in Minneapolis the other week, I mean, he's gonna if he plays anything like that, like you're gonna have at least a shot to win the game. And again, the talent gap is wide, but I mean, even the sports book has only a touchdown game. I mean, it's a far
Yeah.
closer spread than even Michigan was, and we saw how winnable that Michigan game was. It's a closer spread than Nebraska was, and we saw how winnable that Nebraska game was. So I think it's a really winnable game, and I mean, Penn State's always gonna with Grunkemeyer, like he's shown flashes, but they're still gonna try to lean on the Allen Singleton duo that they were gonna be able to lean on for a national title. So you're gonna want to see, interior D line, linebackers stepping up, Malik Spencer, Nakai Martinez run fitting when they can down from safety. And I don't know. I mean, for as lost as this season is, like you caught a break that Penn State has the same thing going on, and you never know what can happen once the ball gets kicked off.
Exactly, and Grunkemeyer is a freshman. Like, he's made freshman mistakes this year. Now, obviously, if you look at the defenses he's gone up against compared to what MSU is, it's understandable, right? Like, he actually looked pretty decent against Indiana, obviously almost beat Indiana, took a miraculous catch, which in my opinion was maybe one of the greatest catches we've seen this year. I don't know how they got even a foot in. It was like a centimeter of in, but obviously they ended up falling short there. But from listening to other podcasts, and I was listening to Locked On Spartans earlier today, he had Locked On Nittany Lions on, and basically he was saying that like anyone that Penn State goes up against that is somewhat mobile at the quarterback position has given the defense some issues. So I do think that
Or
obviously
Childs.
yeah, I was just gonna say Aiden Childs would be great if he was playing very well. But I think Alessio is still a little bit mobile. Is he obviously as mobile as Aiden? No, not even remotely close. But I think Alessio might be able to use his legs a little bit. It would one interesting thing that they talked about and that the locked on guy specifically said was I would be interested to see if MSU ever wanted to go like a two quarterback system in
I
this
w-
game.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Didn't Smith maybe even float that out?
He floated out the idea that they don't have or they don't named a starter at least. He floated that
Okay.
idea, which as a head coach, that's exactly what I would do in his situation. Even though I think everyone knows who it should be and who is going to be the starter.
Yeah. No. Let me. Yeah. I'm just kinda trying to look for a quote. I thought he mentioned something about not ruling out any possibilities of them both going, but, yeah, I wouldn't hate that 2 quarterback either. I mean,
I
I'm
think if you're gonna do it, you would do it with Alessio and Aiden. I know how Aiden has struggled this year, but at least if you put Aiden in there, basically start Alessio, say, "Hey, Alessio, you're the guy. Like,
yeah,
we have certain packages for Aiden. That's just kind of what situations happen." You have teams that do that all the time. Like, honestly, that wouldn't
well,
be anything I would be opposed to seeing is they have certain packages, certain play calls for Aiden specifically, like, if he's not the main guy or if Alessio's struggling, then maybe put a little bit more in there, but if there's a little bit of a mix with Aiden Childs, I wouldn't necessarily hate that.
no, I wouldn't think it'd be a bad thing either, no.
I'm surprised they didn't do it last game,
Yeah, 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 I don't
even
know.
though Alessio was really good.
You just wonder, I mean, I don't know, the off season will be interesting, but I'm not gonna lie to any of the audience. I think the longer that this goes on, um, the fact that Jonathan Smith hasn't been fired yet, I don't know if it's gonna happen
I
after the
was just gonna say
season.
I'm kind of getting a thought in the back of my mind it's not happening.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't really
every
think it
single week
is.
as this goes on, like, especially with what just happened with MSU, with the $32 million buyout, with I'm sure there's probably some concerns about revenue, about bringing money in, about donors, about everything. Like, there could be a real possible situation where we have Jonathan Smith next year as a head coach, and we're talking about quarterback controversy or quarterback competition going in with Alessio and Aiden,
Yeah, so what I was getting at is, yeah, I honestly think year 3 might be imminent at this point, and
which we don't
guy
have like obviously knowledge
no,
of it. We're
we
just
don't.
thinking of like what we believe.
I've no knowledge. I wish I did. I wish I was tapped
Yeah,
in, but
I was just gonna say that would be great if we were.
I can't lie, and it's early in his tenure, and he probably came into an overwhelming situation, but J Bat doesn't necessarily look like the most, like, snap judgment, quick reactionary guy, I guess, just in terms of the Central Michigan situation, now kind of this. Now, it could have been weirdly incentivized with the for the university with the Mel Tucker case. So I mean, it's all over the place. I don't even know.
I was just gonna say it's almost like this team is all over the place going
Yeah,
into
it's
this
like
Penn State game. Like,
the
what's the defense
program
going to
is
look
just
like? Yeah,
in shambles. I mean, it's in shambles. You just hope for the dudes that are about to be done with football, honestly, more than anyone. Like the Rodney Bullards, the Omari Kellys, the guys that are out of eligibility, the Malik Spencer, so that the Quindarius Dunnigans, those guys can, Nakai Martinez, that those guys can get a win because everything in the future, I mean,
it's up in the
we
air at
might as
this
well
point.
not even talk about it because yeah, I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's one of those decisions that we'll obviously talk about. I'm sure it's probably going to be announced if he's going to get fired, if he's going to be brought back. We saw what Wisconsin did with their head coach situation. They
And they
announced that he's
instantly
going to
go
be
win a game.
back. Yeah, and then they win a game against Washington. But I think the one thing that you're going to truly see in this game that we can kind of have a little bit of a pulse on this game is I think Alessio's obviously going to start. There's sounds like there's going to be a couple of guys back. Makai Frazier sounds like he could possibly be back, which according to Jonathan Smith in his
I didn't
press conference did say that. So
I didn't even see that. That's great.
yeah, he did mention a few guys that would be back possibly, or at least healthier, or at least playing. So obviously that's going to be really nice. But I also think you're going to have Joe Rossi on the sideline. I think the defense is going to come play really tough in this game, and it's going to be one of those games that you truly hope MSU kind of pulls out, finds a way to win. Maybe force Grunkemeyer to make some mistakes because when's the last time MSU has had an interception? Seems like it's been a really long time. Can the defensive line get a little bit of pressure? The world may never know the answer to that. Probably no. And then yeah, it's just can they stop the run? And this is a Penn State team that is spiraling right now. It's two programs in two pretty bad positions, and it's one of those things of like a win's not going to do very much for anyone, but at least if MSU wins, at least we'll be able to come on here smiling again and talk about a win for once, which we haven't been able to do for a while.
Yeah, no, uh, I think, I mean, for the fan base, it doesn't really do anything, but I think it does something for the guys going the last 2 weeks of the year, just having, I don't know, you got Iowa and what, Maryland?
Yeah. If you pull out a win against Iowa, like we're talking back in a bowl conversation if you win this one.
Yeah, and I
That
get
would be
it's
a
Iowa
marquee
and they're
win on
pretty
the
good,
road.
but Iowa really doesn't have anything crazy, and I don't know. I don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but
Yeah.
I think a win does do a little bit for Michigan State, and again, it's pure speculation, but both of us are kind of leaning towards Smith's going to be back anyway, so you might as well get it going. I mean, you might as
Bi-
well win.
yeah, build momentum.
Exactly. Try to get some dudes into the program that don't look at state and say, "Oh, I'm not going to play for a 3-9 that went 0-9 in Big Ten." Like, so you beat Penn State. It's Penn State. You get the Land Grant Trophy. Like I think it does do a little bit for the program, and again, probably nothing for the fan base, but I mean, when you have this many alumni, you're going to have one of the most toxic fan bases in the country, and
Probably.
I think our own fans are victim of that sometimes, or not victim, or the the people that perpetrate it. So I don't know. I just I think a hard fought win would actually do something for the program.
It would be nice. It would definitely be very, very nice for MSU to get that hard fought win. I obviously hope for it. It's like I mentioned, a home game for MSU. It's a real possibility that hey, if this was at Penn State, I don't think we'd be talking about probably a win. But let's talk predictions in this game. MSU obviously 7.5 point underdogs at home against a Penn State team that is struggling against an MSU team program that isn't playing very well, but playing very, very hard, playing very motivated coming off a bye week. What's your thoughts on this? What's your prediction? Does MSU and did we talk ourselves into another win for MSU?
I mean, I do it every time. What is a game I've predicted a loss? Nebraska. I remember with our guy.
I was just going to say I think
Sorry,
Nebraska was the one time you predicted a loss, which
yeah, and
I was I was the only guy that was
that was like the
pro
one game we should
MSU.
have actually won. Like that was
Yeah.
like the one game we actually had won. Well, I guess last week too, or Minnesota. So
Yeah.
man, I don't want to do it again, but I'm gonna. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Penn State's anything like. I don't think they're gonna be that motivated. It's gonna be it's gonna be great football weather. I just give us a win. I don't know really what the score.
Okay.
We'll go. I mean, A Millie will get going again. We'll go 28. I mean, we can't win anything more than one score. 28-24.
Okay, I like it. It's good. I was just gonna say I was fully expecting like a late field goal, and I'm like, are we sure we're gonna actually make the field goal at the end? But I'm going MSU as well. I'm going a little bit lower score. I'm actually going to be doing what I'm kind of like joking about, but I think MSU actually does win by a field goal. I don't know if it's a made field goal, but I think it's 24-21 at home. MSU gets the win, and knowing that we both predicted MSU to win this game, it'll probably end up being a loss, a really close, heartbreaking loss. But hey, you know what? We will obviously talk about that game after it happens. We'll recap probably not smiling, but hopefully we'll be smiling at that point. But there's one team that makes us smile, and that is sure is MSU basketball. They have a game tomorrow night. Tonight, if you're currently listening to this, as this will be released tomorrow. MSU, I believe, is. Let me look. What are we favorites
I haven't
by?
seen a line yet since it's just such a weak opponent. I'm looking right
Yeah,
now.
MSU is favored, but there's no line
Yeah,
right now, which I would assume
it'll
MSU
be up
being at home will be,
24-ish.
yeah, will be pretty heavily favored. They're going up against a San Jose State team that is currently 0-2. They have a pretty good point guard. Izzo did talk a little bit about the point guard at the press conference or his like after practice meeting with the media yesterday. Averages 25 points per game. His name is Colby Garland. By far their leading points per game kind of guy. The next guy is 12 points. Just your thoughts on the San Jose State team. Are you feeling pretty comfortable with this game after the Arkansas win at home?
Yeah, I can't lie, yeah, I am, and, I think, just looking at it's really early in the season for these metrics to be calculated, but coming in with the 133rd ranked offense, 241st ranked defense just by Ken Palm efficiency. So, that's a pretty suspect defense. That's a defense that Michigan State should take advantage of. They also play
Yeah.
324th in tempo, which honestly plays right in MSU's favor because when State wants to run, they'll be able to run. When they don't want to run, they want to slow it completely down. So, I am. It's no disrespect to San Jose State. I'm sure they'll, I mean, be competitive. And the Mountain West is tough, but if we've seen anything in March, it's that they aren't as tough as we think against the power conference teams. So considering San Jose State's kind of a bottom feeder, I'm pretty confident in a Spartan win tomorrow.
Yeah, and I know obviously it's really, really early on in the season, but it doesn't seem like they're a very good 3-point shooting team. I know you mentioned specifically their offense and defense isn't that great. I think this is a real opportunity for MSU to hopefully not play guys like Jeremy Fears as much. Get a little bit going offensively with Divine Ugochukwu, or maybe just try and figure out that a little bit. I think if I'm going into this game, I'm looking at a few different things. Number one, and in my opinion, the most important is who's going to be the guy that's playing the two. Who's going to be the guy that's going to have that kind of game? Is it going to be Jordan Scott playing quite a bit? Is it going to be Trey Fort playing more? Is it going to be Kurt Tang? How's Kurt Tang going to look? This is those types of games that obviously you should win comfortably, but this is a type of game where you try to figure out a little bit of what you want to be and what this team is going to be. I think the ceiling of this team is currently unknown. I think the floor is pretty high because you have guys like Cohen Carr, Jeremy Fears, Jackson Kohler. I'm going to be interested to also see how Cohen Carr plays in this game because I think the thing about Cohen Carr, I love Cohen Carr, don't get me wrong, but it truly seems like he's a guy that steps up in big games. Like he's a guy that's going to come ready to play, dominate in big games. But sometimes it seems like when he has kind of these like lesser games, sometimes he's a little bit more quiet out there. He doesn't make the impact. He's maybe not going after rebounds as much. And I think that's going to be something I'm going to kind of keep an eye on for. I think he should absolutely dominate in this game. But I think it's going to be mostly be about Divine Ugochukwu. Is Kuratane going to be playable in this game? And who's going to be kind of that two guard position in this one? Because if you don't figure that thing out real quick, it's going to get real tough real quick for MSU, even though that they beat Arkansas. They didn't shoot the ball very well. And that's the last thing is please make some threes. That would be great. I know this isn't a great 3-point shooting team, and I don't think it will be throughout this year. But I would love to make more than 1 for 14 and shoot 7% from three. Is it too much to ask for 30% in a game?
No, it certainly shouldn't be. I think, yeah, I mean, this is just one of those falls at a great time in between Arkansas and before Kentucky. Just a little tune-up action. You want to get as deep into the benches as you're planning on needing to in close games. Get, like you said, Scott and Ward and Divine Ugochukwu. Get him some run and see what Kurtang can do in extended run and see what Trey Fort can do in extended run. And I mean, yeah, you make a couple threes you win by 20 and you walk out of the Breslin healthy and it's a win. So, yeah, I mean, there's honestly not much more to it in my opinion. I don't think San Jose State poses much of a challenge, and I mean, this guard does look good. He was efficient last game, that's for damn sure. He was like 11 of 13. So sorry, I'm missing his name right now, but
Yeah, you
yeah,
mean I'm assuming you mean
Garland.
Colby Garland. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and he'll get matched up against Fears, so that'll be a fun little matchup to see. But I think, yeah, again, just make some threes, see what Kerr can do, see what Fort does in extended minutes, see what the freshmen keep doing because they've both been good. And yeah, no injuries and a win, and you move on.
I was just going to say, no injuries, figure out a way to win, go 3-0 on the season, see what you do against Kentucky because Kentucky is going to be a whole lot of a harder test than this, but you still need to defend home court against this San Jose State team that has some guys that have some ability to score. But if MSU can run, if they can defend, if they can rebound, they'll be perfectly fine, which I know is something that Izzo talks about and preaches all the time.
Yep, yep, 100%.
Yeah,
Just win the rebounding battle, and you'll be good.
yeah. But yeah, I don't really think there's too much more to go about this San Jose State team. I truly don't think it's going to be one of those games. Like, it might be close early on, but it might be one of those MSU games that kind of like in the second half kind of starts to pull away a little bit. I would love to just dominate from the get go, but MSU hasn't really done that a whole ton recently. But it would be love to just get a comfortable win, and I think MSU will do that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Do you want to do predictions? I know basketball is a lot tougher. We did it last game.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna score that much. I think it's gonna be like 80 to 81 to 54.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I
We'd
think
get a little bit of Nick Sanders in there. We'll get the Walton brothers in
I'm
there.
thinking I mean, I'm thinking that's a possibility. I
Yeah,
think they were like 20-point favorites against Colgate, and obviously they didn't come close to covering that, but I think maybe they would. I guess San Jose's yeah, I mean, according to Ken Palm, they're pretty even, so maybe it's like a 20-point spread.
yeah.
81-57.
Okay. Yeah, I will probably go somewhat similar. I'll go like 76 to 54.
Yeah,
So
just
22 points.
pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Nothing that you're shaking or worrying at the end of the night about. But a win would be a win. Even if it's not that much of a blowout, you just need to win and move on.
100%. Show them
Awesome.
who the real Spartans are.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that they have the same mascot as we do. But yeah, anything else you quickly want to talk about? Basketball, football, Penn State.
No, not off the top of my head, except I'd love to talk to the NCAA.
Yeah, I think everyone would. I think we both would. I think MSU fans would love to talk to the NCAA, but can't do that. Unfortunately, we'll never hear the end of this probably. But
Never,
yeah,
literally never.
never. But hey, you know what? At least it wasn't a lot of wins.
Can we just beat them next year? Probably not.
That would be great. That would be lovely.
At least it
But
wasn't a lot of wins. It's true. When I first saw it, I was like, they're gonna take our Peach Bowl, and it's gonna be the most. I mean, we keep saying, could it ever get worse? And it gets worse. That would
that would
have
have been worse.
way worse, way,
Yeah,
way, way worse.
yeah. We always have 2021.
We always have Kenneth Walker, the third demigod carry season.
Yep. And then everything else never happened. Right
True,
after that.
true,
This is Jonathan Smith's first year under the helm at MSU.
true.
Yeah, not not really, but yeah, no, just an unfortunate situation. Obviously, um, won't live it down. But yeah, that is a wrap to episode number 514. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to tune into the next episode. We'll recap maybe San Jose State. We'll recap MSU, Penn State as well. Hopefully, we'll have fun on those. But even if we won't, we'll be talking about them. So thanks for tuning in, and make sure to tune into those.
Drop score predictions, both games in the comments.
Absolutely. Drop them in the comments.